gonna do that all show?
I'm waiting for you to be ready.
Yay! 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 Yay!
I was born ready.
Oh, that's good.
I was born ready.
Just keep your foot off the power cord. We'll be fine.
I was born ready. Yeah. Well.
Would have been better if I could have enunciated those words. We'll be fine.
Well,
Well, we're not doing our morning show.
no, it's actually dark out.
Yeah.
It's strange. It's like the good old days,
Kinda, yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, not that we ever did them in the middle of the night or anything.
No. But I mean, once we get in, summer is over now. Summer's over, so it's
Although
like
it's supposed to warm up the next couple of days, but yeah,
no,
summer's all
summer's
done.
over, and the sky
done.
is dark, right? There's football on TV in there. It's fall time. What's the grossest thing you've ever seen in public? Because I saw something the other day. I was driving through New York City and it was very very late.
Right there, that's enough right there.
And
That's
I was
usually a pretty gross
and I was
thing.
just like, man, it's 2 a.m. and those are breasts.
Oh,
No.
in public.
Yes.
Interesting.
Not like
Say what you want to say, Mike.
they're burned into my brain for all the wrong reasons.
Oh,
For all the wrong reasons.
so sorry.
Yeah, and I wasn't ready for. And the person was screaming obscenities.
Oh
at the
my
time as well.
goodness.
Yeah. So it was kind of. But I mean, I don't think that was like the worst thing I've ever seen in public. But
I can think that wouldn't be the worst.
yeah. But I'm just curious. What's the worst thing you've ever seen? Is it fecal? Because I've seen human poop on a sidewalk. Like
I've
I mean,
seen human poop.
yeah. No
I've
one
seen
likes
a
to see
human
that.
pooping.
Ooh.
In New York, yeah.
Oh,
York
okay,
City.
so
Oh,
it's
it's,
it's just all New York.
It can kind of come off the table.
It's
New
just
York
all
City
right.
is the grossest thing I've ever seen. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, go ahead.
Have you ever been to Skid Row?
How about you?
Have you ever seen Skid Row in L.A.?
No.
Oh man, I've driven through Skid Row.
I was gonna say
That's
you
never
know,
fun.
As a Boston guy, I think you'd agree with anything New York is gross for the most part.
New York is an awesome. I love New York. It is an amazing
It has
city.
some great parts to it.
It is a great city.
I love going to visit the city
Uh-huh.
almost as much as I love when I'm leaving the city.
Okay.
I love that feeling. I don't want to be there for too long. I don't want to be there overnight. I don't want to stay in the city. I want to go down for a show,
That's it.
hang out in the show, have some fun, then take the train home.
See,
I want to get out of there.
nah. See, that's not how I am now. I lived in New York for a little bit.
Yeah.
Commuted for a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
I like New York. There's a lot of great things happening in New York. I like how New Yorkers are. I like New Yorkers.
Good on you.
Right? They'll tell you how it is.
They'll tell you how they think it is.
They'll tell you how it is. No, they'll tell you how it is.
I don't know.
Okay, if there's like New York has a lot of etiquette. That's very New York centric etiquette, right?
Sure.
If there is
Every area has it, yeah.
well, if there's an escalator, right?
Right.
You don't stand on the left. You stand on the right.
that's
you
common
walk on the
courtesy anywhere. That's not New York.
But in New York, if you're a woman who's 8.5 months pregnant standing on the left,
You're going to get yelled at.
they still tell you to move over.
Of course.
And that's just New York.
That's New York.
That's
But that's
tell
the
you
whole
how it
thing
is.
why
They
I
tell
don't
you how
like
it
New
is.
York.
They
Because
have
they'll
to-
do that to an 8.5-month-old
so you
pregnant
don't like
woman.
New York?
No.
Oh,
No.
I like New York.
I like to visit New York for something, for a show, I'll go to a museum for the day. I enjoy that.
Okay.
There's an artistic side of me that you don't know as well, but that it exists.
So you like what's in New York. You don't like New York. Is that an accurate
That's
statement?
Probably fair.
Right. You like the theater.
Right.
You
I
like
used
the
to-
museum.
I used to love going to a ball game
Sure.
at the old Yankee Stadium,
Sure.
where the whole place smelled like urine. I still enjoyed the ball game. I still enjoyed the field. I don't. The people are a little aggressive.
And it still smells like urine.
It does, but
With like a little sprinkle of Disney on top. Is basically what's
that's
going
where
on.
that's where LA went. That's,
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's. I don't know. I like it. I just like how it operates.
I'm a country guy, dude.
Well, so am I.
Put me in the country and make me happy. You put me in a city, not so much.
I'm very happy to live in the country, and I'm very and
That's how it should
I
be.
love yes, but I mean I like the city. There's good things going on in the city. That you still haven't answered the question. What's the grossest thing you've ever seen?
So New York wasn't a good enough answer.
No, New York is not a good enough answer.
I don't know. I don't know what the grossest thing I've seen.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's all personal for different things make different people sick. Like
Oh, it's personal. The grossest thing I've seen. I was looking in the mirror this one time, and
oh, do they need to chime in on that? Really?
it was. I listened. I haven't pressed the sound effect button. In
It's
quite a
valid.
while.
It's valid. See, the tough part for me. Oh, they're
there's-
still chuckling in the
yeah.
background. Yeah, thank you. In the back of the room. I think for me, the biggest thing that grosses me out is maggots. So, yeah, maggots are nasty.
Just the fact that like if a maggot exists on something, just that thing is gross to you. Like,
Absolutely.
so like a
It's
rotten
hideous.
lamb leg that's sitting in an alleyway and the maggots. So is it the
Dead
maggots
rat.
themselves or is it the rotten leg of lamb?
They usually go hand in hand, don't they? I mean, that's usually the case. So, for me, I've gone into an alleyway back in the old days, working in a restaurant. I walked into an alleyway and there was like a dead rat with a bunch of maggots chewing on it, and that's about as bad as it gets because the stink went with it. You know, it had nothing to do with the restaurant. It had nothing to do with how clean we were inside. It was
That's the worst smell ever, right?
oh
Rotting flesh.
Rotting
Where
flesh.
this is taking a turn.
yeah, this is an upbeat show.
Yeah.
But you know, I've my background in where I'm not active now, where I was a firefighter for a while. I've seen some pretty horrific things,
Sure.
and those things go into a different filing cabinet in my brain
But that wasn't the question.
because it is in public. It is someplace that people
Well,
could see.
I don't know if it's public. Poop on the sidewalk or like homeless woman swinging
Right.
titty at 2 a.m. That's a whole different thing. That's a different
Yeah,
conversation.
It is to when you've seen horrific accidents and fire victims and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I've never really been that freaked out and squeamish by a lot of stuff because early on as a kid, my father being a firefighter, I went to accidents with him. I saw stuff that any 8-year-old should never see. And they'd be like, "Hey, kid,
I shouldn't be laughing about this.
kid, come over here and help me pick up this person because you're a big kid." You know, like literally, there was a lot of stuff I did as a kid that people wouldn't do. So horror movies as a kid became one of my favorite things because I'm like, that doesn't look real. That's kind of funny. So horror movies never shook me up.
That cadaver over there could look a lot more realistic with
Yeah.
corn syrup instead of ketchup.
Right.
Yeah.
It never got to me. So not a whole lot gets to me when I'm like, that's gross. You know what I mean? When you're out in public,
But maggots.
maggots are disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do well with maggots.
Do you like if you
Or mice.
if you turn over a rock and there's like a million ants and they like scurry up all over it, you're good with that?
Whatever, they're ants.
Yeah, okay.
They're not going to hurt you.
Okay, well some people don't like the ants.
Yeah, no, I
what
get
about
it.
spiders? You a spider guy?
No, I have no issue with mice. The only
No?
thing I don't like.
Mice? Snakes you're good with?
Snakes are great.
They
I
eat
love
the
snakes
mice.
that eat the mice.
They eat the mice. Yeah, okay.
Give me a whole. I don't know what's the term. A whole gaggle of
What is the
snakes.
term? A flock of snakes? What is the
No,
term?
there's-
A
Geez,
sizzle?
I should know this.
A sizzle of snakes?
There
What
is
is
a-
it?
There's a term. And this is sad. The reason I know this was recently when I watched the Cobra Kai show. They referred to it as this is a group of
A group of snakes.
snakes was referred to as a. And I'm blanking on it.
A pit?
No, a pit of snakes. I'm no Indiana Jones. I have no issue with
A
that.
den?
No,
Like that's I don't know.
no, it's
What-
another word you wouldn't expect. But
Okay.
anyway.
Yeah. I
anyway,
don't
yeah,
know.
snakes don't bother me.
Well, they're typically a solitary creature, the
They are,
snake, right?
yeah.
They don't like. It's not like that Simpsons episode with the snake whacking day, right? Where you see them all sizzling around. That's what I would call it, a sizzle of snakes.
a Moses lack of snakes.
Okay,
How
yeah.
about that? Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I don't know. Lori, my wife, she doesn't like snakes. She doesn't do well with
not her
there was
thing.
so there was this one time.
At band camp.
Snakes, well, different story. There's it's a very hot day outside, right? And in our basement crawl space, it stays nice and cool. And
Snakes love it.
so I was throwing down laundry to do later on that day. And,
Oh, boy.
And Lori opens up the door, and just in the laundry is this long. It had to have been like a 4-foot long snake. It was a long one,
Right.
to the point where I was like, "Come on, Lori, don't be stupid." And then I opened up the door, and I was like, "Ah!" Like it was a huge. And then of
And
course,
it's not like your wife is someone who's not been around.
no,
animals.
farm girl. She's
a farm
she's
girl.
as tough as
Yeah.
as a gaggle of snakes. So, but she just couldn't. She doesn't like snakes. And then I saw it, and I was like, normally I would be like, okay, whatever, we'll get the snake. And I saw that
Sure.
snake, and I was just like, you know what? Calling a professional, get this snake
Did
out
you
of there.
really for a 4-foot snake?
No, it was more
What
like
kind of snake was
it was
it?
more like 7 feet.
What kind of snake was it?
Here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
It disappeared in between us calling the professional.
Shut
Now, how
up.
much does that mess with you? Because the thing
Now
is,
where is it?
on the surface, well, that's the question. On the
Yeah.
surface level, like a milk snake and a copperhead look very similar from far away if you can't get a look at their eyes.
True.
If you can't look
True.
at them dead in the face.
And for those who don't know, a milk snake is a wonderful snake. It's your best friend snake.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
eats mice. It's a constrictor. and its teeth can't even break your skin.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, they're wonderful. Milk snakes are amazing.
I would literally lay down on a murder of milk snakes and be absolutely fine with it.
I gotta look that up.
But
You talk. I'm gonna look it up.
okay, well, I'm finishing my story. Okay, the answer was Den. Yeah. So basically, we couldn't tell what kind of snake this was, and it just disappeared. And then, like, for the next month, we're just like, every time we go into that basement, we had a broomstick, and we're like whacking surfaces, because if you like startle the snake, it'll get out of there. The snake was never found. We put out traps.
Come
The snake
on.
was never found.
It's a smart snake.
It's a smart snake. Yeah, snake got out of there. And the funny thing is, like, Lori saw it go into the basement, and I was just like, there's no way. Our basement is watertight. Water has never gotten into our basement. How's a snake supposed to get into the basement? Well, the snake got into the basement, and it was quite terrifying for Lori and myself. And that's the story of the snake that was never caught. The end.
It's a cute story.
All right, so what do you got? I know you're Googling it.
I'm looking for it, and the thing was they'd said a bunch of cobras were called this.
Okay, well, so
That's what I'm looking for.
Siri, what do you call a group of cobras?
Just a moment.
Oh,
Technology, man. No? She's fishing for it. She's got nothing. Let's try it again.
see, she's having the same problem we are.
What do you call a group of snakes?
A quiver. A quiver is the word I was
Okay.
looking for.
I found this on the web for what you call a group of snakes.
There's a lot
Check
of
it out.
answers. There's a lot of answers. A quiver, though? That's what we're going to go with?
That's what the cobras were called.
I'll go with a quiver.
And it's kind of cool because you quiver when you see them, and that's why I was like, it's a really cool double meaning word.
Okay.
But I couldn't think of it, and I had to cheat, and I found
Okay.
it. But it's a quiver.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, a shudder of snakes.
Mm.
A shriek of snakes. Oh, that would be. Ooh.
That would have been really good.
Ooh, a runaway fast with snake. A call pest control of snakes.
Hey, poo your pants.
A poo on the street at 2 a.m.
Yes.
with a topless.
Homeless woman that you found.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, but hey, it's good to be doing the show again. It's been a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, it's always a little bit.
I'm rocking my my shirt show today.
Yeah. Your shirt show or your show shirt?
That too.
It's the show shirt. The
Yeah.
bar is low with Myke and Mo's show shirt. Show.
Yeah, see, it's tough. The show shirt.
Peter Piker picked up. That's
Right.
Yeah, that's it. So
Yeah, I wore it all day. I wore it to work today, and a couple people mentioned they were like, "Oh, what's that?" Well, it's my podcast. You should.
and you're like, it's an
recognize
election year. Do me a favor and listen on November 4th. Maybe November 5th. Maybe after all
it. Might
the.
be a
all the-
month
all the-
after all of it's collected.
Yeah,
Who
there you
knows?
go. But you know what's great? It's been a while since we've done the show, but there's actually a blinking light here on the phone line.
Come on, we have a call.
Yeah, and how can people call up the show, Mo?
631-7 Myke Mo.
That's 6317 Myke Mo.
That's Myke with a Y. Nice.
Oh.
That's why we don't do evening shows.
There you go.
But yeah, give us a call, 6317 Myke Mo. Tell us what you're thinking, what you're talking about, and give us a question. Make it something fun for us, like this caller right here.
Guys, it's Liz. I missed you.
Liz.
Miss you
Update
too.
on The Simpsons. I'm in season 11 right now, so I'm a third of the way through. Very exciting.
Excellent.
But I was just wondering, people razz on New Jersey and Florida and stuff like that. But in your opinion, which are the worst states? Like if someone was saying to you, "Oh, I'm going to go visit this state," and you're like, "Oh God, no, don't even bother."
Yeah, New York again. Here we go.
Just wondered
No,
what your
false.
opinion on that was. Also, Mo, can you please use your influence to convince the city of Danbury to name the sewage plant after John Oliver? Because that would be great. Love you guys. Can't wait to wear my hat. Bye.
There you go. Old news, so but that was actually fun. John Oliver and Mayor Bowden of our neighboring town going back and forth about the sewer plant. But I want to talk about her first question.
Sure.
I want to talk about this question because and she said, "What's the worst state?" And you jumped on New York again, and no, because outside the city, New York
is
New
a
York-
big,
well, okay.
beautiful state.
Outside of New York City, outside of Newburgh, outside of Oniontown, it's a wonderful state. Oniontown. Now Oniontown's we could do a whole show on Oniontown. A lot of people don't know about Oniontown necessarily. It's if Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Hills Have Eyes had a baby and that baby moved to New York, Dutchess County, and was unincorporated, and then I don't know, had another baby with itself, that would be Oniontown. Crazy times.
Yeah, except that I have family from over that way, so let's leave
Do
that
you
part
have
alone. Yeah.
Oniontown family?
Well, my family goes back as farmers in this area.
No.
from
But that's
us over
different
to
from
there.
Oniontown. That's different from
Oh,
Oniontown.
Oniontown is in that same area.
Same area. No. I didn't say
Not in Oniontown, but the very similar, very neighboring
No.
towns.
There's a difference between Oniontown and the rest of what is that? Dover Plains.
Right.
Dover Plains. There's some nice people from Dover Plains who
Wonderful
I've met.
people.
Some very wonderful people. I'm literally talking about one road.
Yeah.
It's just one road.
Yeah.
Like there's one road.
I can't
Just stay away from
I
it.
can't confirm that my family was not a part of that because, again, as I was saying earlier, as the farmers, they moved all around that area.
So I've
a
seen
lot through Dover.
but I've seen the documentary. I
Right.
can guarantee you they're not from Oniontown. Oniontown, it's from the middle of the woods. That's
Oh,
not
I
farming.
get you.
That's
I
not
get you.
farming. I guarantee you.
But they go back, like I said, and Oniontown, you should be able to figure it out because their family tree is basically a stick. It's an upright stick.
Which is how I know that you're not part of that stick
Right.
because you are the opposite of a stick.
Oh,
You look more like a boulder than a stick.
that was nicer than where I thought you might be going. Who knows?
yeah. So Alabama sucks.
I've been to Alabama.
Alabama sucks.
Some wonderful people.
You're
going
to
to
defend Mississippi right now.
Of course, I'll defend Mississippi.
I like some parts of Mississippi.
Yeah, and I don't like some
despise
parts of Mississippi.
Yeah. No,
And
there's
some of Alabama's the same way. And some of the South, you can pick it apart. But it's really tough. There's no state. I've been to a lot of the states. I couldn't. I always see those lists on like Facebook.
like worst.
Check
worst
off the
state.
ones you've been to.
Well, it's tough because it's like there are nice parts of states, and then there are stuff that I like. I'm sure that West Virginia has some nice parts.
I've had a really awful story in West Virginia for myself.
I don't like West Virginia.
No,
West Virginia is probably on. It's up there.
I
for
spent
me.
a night in Wheeling, West Virginia, and it was awful.
Wheeling.
Yeah, would you like to hear the story?
Yeah, we have time. This
Okay,
is
good.
your show. This you.
Well, if you said no, it's Wheeling. I don't want anything to do with it. But I took a road trip with a buddy of mine years ago. We went to stopped and see my brother in Pennsylvania. We went out to Canton, see the Football Hall of Fame. We went out to Indiana where I went to school. We just made this awesome road trip. And the back leg of the road trip was driving from, I'm trying to think of where we were, but somewhere Midwest. We were driving from there to D.C. And we said, okay, this is the only part we really didn't have figured out.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard of Wheeling, West Virginia. Let's get a hotel room there. We'll stay there for the night and go the next day.
It's always the sketchiest thing. Like that sounds familiar.
But we were like 25.
Yeah, it's much easier now with the whole phone thing.
I can tell you right now that I did not have the appropriate clothing to be in Wheeling, West Virginia. I for some reason, I remember the shirt I was wearing was a green and blue paisley collared shirt.
Oh no.
Yeah, it didn't go over well in the Wheeling, West Virginia. So
no.
the hotel we were at was actually we could walk out of our room, step over a wall that was waist high, walk over and touch the bridge. Like the suspension bridge that's there, and there's a long history to it. It's a really impressive old bridge in Wheeling, West Virginia.
But your hotel was just like
On the
butting up
bridge.
against it. Okay.
Yeah, it was really weird. So I looked at my buddy and I said, "Hey, why don't we go for a?" And by the way, his name is Myke.
Sounds like a great guy.
So I said, "Hey, let's go out and find a beer. Let's go somewhere and grab a beer." We walk up and down the main road. Not much is open. Not much is going on. It's a Thursday night. The place is dead though. And I say, "There's a strip bar over here. Do you want to go to the strip bar?"
No, in the middle of
And he said- and he
West
said-
Virginia strip
yeah.
bar.
And he said,
Yeah.
"No, I don't want to go there." I said, "Okay." So we went to other bars.
Smart.
We walked. And
There
none of
happened to
these-
be women stripping in those bars too, but you know.
No, they were all just really boring. Not even like music on, no pool tables. It was just a really strange. People sitting around drinking, looking at each other. It was really strange.
Huh.
But you can get a 6-pack to go, which is nice in
Okay.
some states.
Fair.
And so we ended up going to every other bar on the strip and having one beer and walking out. One beer, walking out.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, he goes, "All right, let's go back to that strip club." I said, "We don't have to. We can go wherever." So we go in there, and then when you go in the front door, they asked not only to show your ID, you had to sign your name at the front book.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "Well, I don't want any record of my being here." So I wrote Fred Flintstone. They didn't question it. He
Did they-
walks up, looks
well-
at me, and he goes, "Barney Rubble."
Oh.
"Hey, Fred, what do you say, Fred?"
I mean, maybe
So-
they haven't seen a television
Who
since I Love
knows?
Lucy. I
Right,
don't know.
who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
So I can tell you that your scary visual of a woman in New York isn't far off from what I saw in that club. Burned in my mind
Uh-huh.
that a young lady came over and asked me to buy her a drink. And I said, okay. And she was working. And I said, well, it's a little odd you're allowed to drink while you're on shift. And she said, I swear to God, she goes, well, the deal is I get half of what you spend here if you buy drinks with me. So if you buy a shot at $5, I'll get $2.50 of it.
Uh-huh.
And I said probably the rudest thing I've ever said to anyone.
Oh, no.
I said, if I buy you a double, will you go away?
Oh.
Yeah.
And
she did. That was fine. It was money well spent.
she got $5.
She got $5.
Went away.
And she
got the
alone.
shot. Wait, so she got $5. She got the double shot, and she went away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was money well spent because I don't think I was tipping in that place at all. Especially when the next person on stage stepped up, the girl that was sitting with me, and I swear to God, that's the last thing I heard in there, and I walked out. She looked at me and said, all right, Mama, your turn. It was her mother stepping up on stage to follow her.
Like legit.
Legit. Yeah.
Did they?
I looked at my buddy. I said, Myke, it's time to go. And he goes, let's stay here a little longer.
You're like,
No, sir.
I didn't sign up for the mother-daughter dance tonight here in Wheeling, West Virginia.
So that's not where the story ends, though.
Oh, no?
So we get outside.
We still got time.
And there's a girl walking on the street, not a walker, but a girl who's walking down the street who's about our age.
Uh-huh.
And we said, hey, where do people go in Wheeling? And she said, well, normally you go down the street right here across the bridge down the way. That's where the dog track is, but the dog track's closed tonight. I said, oh, okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. That's why nobody's out.
Yeah.
Was it
a Sunday? Because it's
No, it was
God's
a
Day.
Thursday.
No, oh, okay.
It was a Thursday.
Okay.
And she said, no, but across the bridge over here, there's a dance club called Dr. Z's. Why don't you come on over to Dr. Z's? Okay. We're both dressed for a club. We're like, all right, maybe it's not all, bars that say we got both kinds of music, country and Western. It wasn't that kind of place.
So hell with bluegrass, that fancy shit.
We walk across this bridge.
Uh-huh.
It's a long bridge.
Uh-huh.
And we find ourselves in a like a neighborhood. It was really strange. I was like, are you sure this is where the club is?
Like a cul-de-sac? Like a residential?
Not necessarily a cul-de-sac, but very residential area we're in.
Okay.
And I go, Myke, we probably shouldn't be here. She's going to kill us. We're going to die here. And he's like, no, man. She seems nice. Let's go hang out. So we see this wall as we come around the block. And on the wall, it's painted Dr. Z's, the big Z. We're like, oh, this is the club. All right.
Must be it, yeah.
I've never before or since seen a club or any sort of bar like this is meant to be with a screen door. And we got to the screen door, and she said, they're with me. So we paid our cover, and we went in and sat down. And I swear to you, on a stack of Bibles, this is what happened. The band stopped playing when they saw us and said, y'all, we're going to take a quick break. And they dropped their instruments and walked away. And we looked around, and everyone in the bar was staring at us. She goes, I'm going to go get you a beer. Dude, I've seen way too many horror films, as we said before.
Yeah.
She went for the beers. I'm like, dude, you done? He's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
We ran with all we had back across that bridge,
Uh-huh.
and we could hear people behind us.
No.
Yeah, scary, dude. We got back to the hotel, locked the doors, turned the lights off. Boom, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere outside.
Wow.
And we're looking like peeking out the windows, and there were people walking up and down the street. I don't know what would have happened to us. I don't know the whole story. Look, they might have been the friendliest, nicest people in the world. But, dude, when they
just wanted to give you a cake and welcome you to their humble town.
When they were chasing us across that bridge, I swear to you, I could hear a banjo playing. That's all I'm saying.
So the answer is West Virginia for both of us, then.
Yeah, West Virginia. I've been to a lot of states, and I've seen a lot of really good things and some awful things. But, yeah, West Virginia is probably my worst recollection for any state memory.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go through the states, right?
Did you like that story?
That's a great story, and I've never heard that. I've heard a lot of stories from you.
You have.
But, yeah, Maine, there's nice parts. New Hampshire, nice parts. Vermont, nice parts. Right? All of New England, good stuff.
New England's great.
New York has some good spots.
Has some wonderful spots.
Pennsylvania, I could give or take Pennsylvania. I mean, hey, Little League World Series is there.
If you
right?
need to go to a city, Pittsburgh is up there. I enjoyed Pittsburgh quite a bit.
Yeah, with the river. Yeah, it's nice. Philly's not bad. Philly's not bad.
I like the people in Philly far more than New York, too, and people compare them a lot.
It's a different breed.
It is
but
a very
I'll
different
give you
breed.
that.
Yeah.
New Jersey, yeah. I like the people in Jersey.
I get along great with Jersey
They're real
people.
Yeah, Delaware. Maryland, I love. I love Baltimore.
I'm pretty close to Delaware. I've been there.
Drive-through state.
My nephew went to UD. Good for him.
Maryland, I love Baltimore. Love Baltimore.
Baltimore's
one of my favorite cities.
Wonderful.
One of my favorite cities. Virginia, yeah, Virginia's got some nice spots.
Wonderful
some
place. I love
beautiful
Virginia.
spots. Absolutely gorgeous countryside.
Love
there.
Virginia.
The Carolinas, there's some good spots, right?
Yeah, get some beach time.
Some good beach
great
time.
golf there.
Yeah, I mean, I could Greenville area, the inland stuff. I can kind of take it or leave
we're
it.
talking
Whatever.
about the whole state.
The whole state. Georgia, love Savannah. Atlanta's
you
great.
do.
Florida, there's pick
There's
and
some
choose.
good spots.
I
yeah.
love the Keys.
I love the Keys.
Key West is one of my favorite places in the
Me
world.
too. We've
Yep.
discussed this. Yeah.
So let's keep going. Tennessee, there's some decent.
Knoxville.
Memphis
I've been to
and Nashville.
Lynchburg.
Memphis and Nashville, both of them, great times.
Agreed.
Great times there. Kentucky, Louisville, good time.
Louisville,
good time.
I don't know if I like Louisville so much. It's really not far from Wheeling for me, but I didn't have as awful experiences there. But I'm not a huge fan of Louisville.
So do you put
But they
Kentucky
make
on
the
your
bats.
on your?
But
on
they
your,
make the best bats
They
in the
make
world.
the bats.
So,
They
done.
and I mean fried chicken. Come on.
Amazing fried chicken.
So there you go. So Kentucky's got to stay.
Yeah.
I guess we're just figuring out who we're going to boot out of the union. Right now
There's
it's just
no one.
West Virginia.
West Virginia can stay though. I mean, everyone,
No.
everyone's got that weird neighbor. That's fine.
No, but that's not like a weird neighbor.
She didn't
that's
say we
like,
have to boot them. She just said, "What's your least favorite?"
I just
So-
changed the rules. So okay, so West Virginia's the least favorite. Ohio, good spots, bad spots.
Yeah, I like Ohio. I actually love Cleveland.
Cleveland's a great town.
Love Cleveland.
Not much going on these days, unfortunately, but good town. Indiana, you like,
Yeah, I
right?
went to college in Indiana. I like
Michigan,
Indiana.
I like Michigan. There's
Yeah,
some stuff going
yeah.
on there. Wisconsin again, some
Oopers, yeah.
I mean, great cheese. I've had some great cheese
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
When I went to visit there, I was doing a video shoot, and I left with this huge wheel of cheese. And when I came home, Lori was just like, "Why do you have
A giant wheel of cheese.
like a 60-pound wheel of cheese?" And I was like, "I'm gonna cut it up into wedges and freeze it and eat nothing but cheese for years to come."
How long did that last?
It lasted longer than it should have. we'll just put it that way. We'll just put
You
it
can
that
freeze
way.
cheese? Like, I guess you can.
You can
Yeah,
freeze
yeah.
cheese. Absolutely, you
I don't
can
freeze a whole lot of
cheese.
stuff. I don't freeze much.
No. You got to freeze it right. I vacuum seal and then freeze.
Wow.
So I've got my whole
You
system.
did a weird hand motion when you said that too. That was very effeminate. Just saying, I vacuum seal, then I freeze cheese. That's the way your hand gesture.
Mo, I freeze cheese. So Alabama.
I'll just cut it.
Alabama, I can kind of.
I like Alabama.
It may be on my number 2. I don't know.
I like Alabama.
Yeah,
I have no issue there.
I don't know.
I met some wonderful people there, and some of the best football in the world is down there.
Sure, but I haven't had a great time. Right now, Alabama's number 2 on my
Okay,
DNV
so far,
list,
we got a
my
long
do
way
not
to go.
visit list. Mississippi, love the Bayou area. Right,
Again,
that's
I had
really
there's some rough parts of it, but
Sure.
again, great football. I'm a Mississippi State guy, so go Dogs.
I wasn't chased, but like going through Mississippi on my way driving
Ooh.
from Georgia to L.A.
Mhm.
Mississippi. It was like 12 o'clock, and I was like, I need gas, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, again they were all staring at me.
Yeah,
And I had
sure.
Connecticut plates on,
Yeah.
and like a full car. Like there must be some goods in there. I was like, get me the fuck out of this state.
Wow, they're
So-
looking at him going, is that boy over there, is he Jewish? I don't think he belonged down here.
Louisiana, I love. New Orleans, one of my favorite
Oh,
cities.
beautiful.
Absolutely love. Best food, one of the best
I've
food
never
cities
been
out
to
there.
New Orleans, and I want to go. It's one of the places I want to go.
Oh
That's
my
where
God, I love
a buddy
it.
of mine just moved there. He's
I
offered
love it.
anytime I have a room, anytime I have a desire to go there.
It's
he has
funny
a room
how
for
often
me.
do you take those
I
opportunities? up?
know. I know.
I had a friend who went to Bulgaria, and it was just like, hey, anytime you want to come, and everyone's like, yeah, dude, I can't wait. You're gonna be there for 5 years. Lori and I are the only 2 who went to visit him.
Wow.
The entire time, and I loved Bulgaria.
Wow.
Good times. But that's not the game we're playing right now. We're talking about
True.
states, right?
States.
Arkansas, I've only driven through. I don't know anything going on.
Yeah,
in
I knew some
Arkansas.
people from Arkansas that were very nice people. I don't
Yeah.
have anything against Arkansas, and except for the only way to offend them is
Call
to
it
call it
Arkansas, yeah.
Oh, they get mad.
Well,
at that.
also if you go north and you go to Missouri, no, it's Missouri.
Missouri.
I got nothing wrong with Missouri.
No, my brother went to school in St. Louis. Loved St. Louis. Beautiful city. I've been there several
Yeah.
times.
Weird that Panera Bread is called St. Louis Bread Company there.
Interesting.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't know that.
I only knew that because I went to the St. Louis Bread Company and it was Panera Bread. And I asked them and they were just like, this is what we call it. Illinois, love it. Chicago, great city. I'm
somewhat of a fan of Chicago.
Wisconsin, we already hit. Iowa, I don't know much about
Yeah.
Iowa.
I know some people in Iowa.
The only time I went to Iowa once, it was for a track meet. It was very nice. It was actually, we found this really cool filming location of a tree in the middle of the road.
Wow.
Like it was it was a road that was built around the giant tree. So you
That's
get to this
cool.
4-way intersection and it's just like, there's a tree there. And it's really cool. I'll show you a picture of this tree. It's
I
not
know
bad.
someone who lives there, and they're again wonderful people. And I have nothing against Iowa. I would love to go visit Iowa. And again, great football, great fans.
Yeah, it was nice. I was at Drake University, that area, for a
Nice.
little bit. Minnesota, never been. I've heard wonderful things. I have friends from there, you know?
I just don't like it quite as cold as it gets in Minnesota.
Right. And the Dakotas.
I have a friend from there who used to play the game where you take a warm cup of water out in the middle of winter, you throw it up in the air, and it evaporates. It's gone. Crazy.
So
that's too cold.
North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Nebraska, I know nothing of. I've never been to that section. That's like the last frontier now.
I've been through some of it, but I will tell you this. Having never been there, if something were to happen, no matter what, Connecticut's my home. I'm not planning on going anywhere.
If something were to happen, like
But if something were to happen,
nuclear holocaust happen, or like zombie
if
apocalypse.
something were to drive me from Connecticut and they're like, hey, you have to pick another state to live in. I think it might be Montana or Wyoming.
Well, that's just like that's just the frontier at this point. That's just
I'd love,
But the winters there are not forgiving.
I'd love a ranch out in Wyoming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hit the lottery.
Not Montana. I don't think you'd do well in Montana.
I don't think I'd do well in either one. I'm either way, but
I mean, Montana has been snowing since July. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not saying you spend all year there. If I have the money to go buy a ranch up there, I can probably buy a place in the Keys too. So I'll be good to go.
Oh, okay. So you'll snowbird it?
Maybe.
All right, fair
I'm
enough.
getting old enough where I can.
Fair enough. We're doing this now. We're all the way here.
You decided
Right.
that we're going down the East Coast. We're doing this.
Kansas, Oklahoma, whatever.
I have family in
I've got
Oklahoma,
no problems. Texas, good and bad. San Antonio, I hate.
Love Texas.
Austin,
Texas
I
is
love.
great.
Dallas is a great
Houston,
town.
beautiful.
Houston's beautiful. It's just San Antonio. It's just not it's shit.
But I will tell you, Oklahoma, I have family there who are on the reservation there, and I would love to go visit them. I'd love to spend more time with them again. Been a while.
Okay. Four Corners, right? New Mexico, I've only driven through. Whatever. It's just a lot of desert. I mean, I got nothing against it.
New Mexico, Arizona,
I ain't going.
to me, are very similar.
But Arizona, I've spent a decent amount of time in. I've spent a lot of time in Phoenix.
A little more time there.
I've spent a lot of time in Phoenix, and I've actually spent some time down in Tucson as well at University of Arizona, U of A. It's hot. It's desert. But there's stuff to do. At least in Phoenix, there's a ton to do.
Yeah, I mean, any city's going to have stuff to do.
Well, Phoenix is like 4 cities in one, right? You got Glendale, you got
Right.
Scottsdale, you got
It's true.
Phoenix, you got Tempe. They're all right there.
Yeah.
Like literally.
That's busy.
Yeah.
Very busy.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd enjoy busy as much, but yeah.
But it's spread out enough.
Yeah.
Best outlets I've ever gone to
Okay.
in Phoenix.
What's the only thing you ever hear about Arizona? Everybody who says something about Arizona always says
It's a dry heat.
it's a dry heat every time. It's a dry heat though.
Oh,
It's 120.
yeah. It's hot enough to stretch out your nutsack and boil an egg on it. But
I don't know. You
It's-
need to go there.
well, that happened in New York City one time.
Oh my!
yeah.
I don't want to hear that story ever.
Utah, I can do without. I've never visited. I've heard wonderful things like the Salt Flats and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm sure some of that. I've never been out to that. So
Lori once lost her keys in the Salt Flats, and they spent several hours looking for them.
Oh.
So, and that's it. But I
Did
mean,
they find them?
yeah, they did.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's Mormons there, so
Yeah.
I'll sell the Mormons. I'll sell the Mormon. I don't know if anyone's buying. What's the stock price on the Mormons right now? I don't know.
I do know a couple of Mormons who are wonderful people.
I'm sure. Are they in the choir?
The Tabernacle Choir?
Mm-hmm.
No, they live here, but they're Mormon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do they have sister wives? Do they do that
No.
whole thing? No. It's
No.
just a monogamous Mormon relationship.
Correct.
Good for them.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I don't know. Good for them or not good for them, whatever. It's just who they are.
I'm buying one Mormon family. Idaho. I don't know.
You love potatoes.
I need potatoes in
You
my
love
life. I need potatoes,
potatoes.
but I've never been there. But I need potatoes,
I'd
right?
go there. I'd go up to a muck farm and hang out up there for a little while.
Washington. I love the Pacific Northwest.
I've been
Washington,
to Seattle. Love Seattle.
Oregon. That whole
Amazing.
area is
Yeah.
great. California, love it. Northern California is like Napa, Sonoma.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Love it. I just cracked open a bottle of wine that I got in Napa 13 years ago.
Wow.
It was delicious. It was a nice Cab Franc, 2008 Cab
what
Franc.
was the celebration to crack open a 13-year-old bottle of wine?
I have an extensive wine collection. The occasion is it's going to be vinegar soon if I don't drink it.
Wow.
So we've just been
okay.
drinking a lot of
Okay.
really good wine recently. I'm like, oh, this Silver Oak right here at retail would be $400 because I've been aging it for 12 years.
Wow.
But you know what?
I want to crack it.
I think this would go really well with a Hot Pocket tonight. So there you go. And then, Southern California, it's a whole different thing, whole different state, really, right? But
The best Mexican food I had in my life was in L.A.
see, here's the funny thing. You say that, but when we moved from L.A. back east and we came to New Milford here on the way to move down to New York, we went across the street here to Primo's and got
Primo's
a
is
burrito.
great.
And Lori looks at me legit, and she's just like, we've lived in L.A. for 6 years, and the best burrito I've ever had is in New Milford, Connecticut.
Wow.
Get out of here.
Well, no,
It's good. It's
this
really
wasn't-
good.
I
over there.
wasn't at a traditional restaurant. It was a friend of my father's. We were visiting in East L.A.
Ooh, shopping cart.
and it was
Was it out of a shopping cart?
no,
So not that far
no.
east.
It was a banquet hall, but it wasn't like a. It was all family. It was all family cooking, family food,
Uh-huh.
and I couldn't get enough of it. It was amazing.
Was there corn with mayonnaise on it?
I don't recall.
They used to sell that shit out of a shopping cart
Yeah.
on the street. Tamales. The best thing when we lived downtown L.A., there was this tamale guy with a shopping cart full of tamale, and and tamale. It's you buy it in the morning
Sure.
on Sunday morning, 7:30 in the morning. Just open your window and you just hear tamale. Tamale. And he
get
would
it.
yell it until you don't get it because you would say
Okay.
it until someone comes up. And when someone comes up to the shopping cart,
Yeah.
he'll be in the middle of yelling one, or he'll just start one, and it'll just be tamale. Like he just cuts it off short, and then you're just like, oh, he's got a sale. And it's like, if it's a real good Sunday, if there's a lot more of those tamale,
That's awesome.
than there is the full on tamale.
Yeah, the food was outstanding, but I don't think the food had anything to do with L.A. It was just a family that had that banquet hall, so had nothing to do with it. We just happened to be in L.A. and
Sure.
friends of my father's, and you
Sure.
But so wait a minute. So
Nevada, love it. Vegas.
I'm not a
See,
fan of Vegas. It's
I mean-
all right.
See, okay, Vegas. How many times have you done Vegas?
Once.
Okay. Did you do downtown? Just the Strip? Where in
No,
Vegas?
we went out. We traveled one day out to the old Strip. We did the main Strip.
The old Strip being downtown, like Fremont Street.
Right.
Okay. I prefer Fremont Street versus
I enjoyed Fremont Street a
versus
little
the
bit
Strip.
more,
Yeah.
but I will say that I don't know. I enjoy gambling like the next guy.
Sure.
But I was like, yeah, I can spend a couple days here. But I'm like, okay, I'm good. I think I've checked it off my bucket list. I don't need to come
So
back.
there's so much more going on than just the gambling, though.
Well, that's all that really interesting. There's some shows, some good shows.
Rides, attractions.
Great.
Hoover Dam.
I didn't get out there.
No.
No.
It's actually quite impressive.
I'm sure it is.
It's no Grand Canyon. That was
Valid.
impressive.
Valid.
I was like, my eyes were open wider for the Grand Canyon than when I saw the homeless topless woman at 2 a.m.
recurring
strolling
theme.
down Park Avenue.
the recurring theme.
Oh,
Park
yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah, it was Park
Wow.
Avenue. Yeah.
Great.
I mean, but it's well, you say it like that. It's like, oh, Fifth Avenue. That's Saxon Fifth Avenue. It's like, yeah, it's a long street.
It is.
It's
Well, I
it's
get you.
and it goes
Park
through
Avenue's a long
some
way. Yeah,
some and look, and it's New York City at 2 a.m. There
Hey, I
are
don't know
no
where you're
rules.
hanging out, dude. I don't know where you're going.
This
but
was in
yeah.
the village. This was in the village.
Wow.
It's a nice area.
Wow.
And I'm just crossing over Park Avenue. Maybe it was Lexington. I don't know. And it's just and we were just like, oh well, that's nice. That's
Good for her.
that's good for her. Good for her. What a stand up. I just can't.
I
Alaska,
can't
never
answer
been, and I would love.
I've never been.
Never
to Alaska.
been, and
I'd
I
love
want to. Go.
Hawaii.
We gotta
I
go
was.
see Smitty. We gotta
Hawaii
go
was
see Smitty.
amazing.
Yeah, we got a buddy in Alaska.
We do.
Is he still there?
I don't know.
I haven't seen him.
I thought he
in a
was
while.
moving back to New York at one point, but I also have some friends from high school who moved to Alaska too.
I would
Same
love to go to
area.
Alaska. I would love to take an Alaskan cruise.
Yeah.
I would do that. And then Hawaii, yeah, been there.
I love
Fabulous.
Hawaii. Love
Fabulous.
Hawaii.
It's fabulous.
So if you had to move, like I said, I did before.
What about
me
Puerto
going
Rico?
Big Sky.
What about Puerto Rico?
I haven't been to Puerto Rico, but I'd love to.
What
I'd
about
love to.
Washington, D.C.? We got to get the territories in now.
I've been there. Too.
Virgin Islands? Love them.
I haven't been
Oh,
to the Virgin Islands.
Dude, Virgin
No.
Islands are great. St. Thomas, whatever. St. Croix, pretty cool. St. John, chill.
You ever been to a bar
So
called
chill.
Rum Runners in St. Croix?
Rum Runners. I've been to a place
It's
called
big.
Rum Runners, but I don't know if it was
St.
in
Croix.
St. Croix. I think it.
It's owned by 3 guys from New Milford.
Oh,
How great is that?
well, there you go.
Yeah. If we were going down there tomorrow,
Maybe I heard about it. We got some friends down there, right?
We do.
Ian's down there, yeah.
Right. But if we were down there tomorrow, they'd be upset if I didn't call them to go hang out at their bar. That would be the spot they expect me to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll go to
Guys I
Rembrandt.
went to
There
high
you
school
go.
with. It was
There
great.
you go. So the question where I would move?
Where would you move? If you had to move, like, hey, Mike, Connecticut's closing. You have to move somewhere. Where are you choosing to go?
I mean, I love New England. I love the Northeast.
I do too.
I love the Northeast. Yeah, I mean, Baltimore. Maybe I'd move back to Savannah. I wouldn't.
Really?
I probably wouldn't be moving back to California. That's a young man's game. Maybe NorCal. I could do NorCal.
Yeah.
Definitely not going into the desert. Definitely not going into anything that borders Canada.
So we're not going to be neighbors at that point, is what you're saying.
No.
Not
No,
unless you
it
convince me.
would probably be the Keys. It would probably be the Keys.
Yeah.
I would probably because
I'll see you half the year.
I could totally go for that. I mean, dude, come on, the island time there's something wonderful
Nothing
about
like it.
island time.
Nothing like
There's
it.
oh man, I got somewhere to be. Well, I'll be there eventually. let me just sit over here and reminisce about that homeless woman's titties a little bit longer.
All right, so we know what this episode's called and why
Hey.
you guys picked it. Yeah, that's great.
Listen, the bar is low.
It's mighty low.
It's been a while. It started to come up in our absence. Had to bring it back down,
It's true.
and here we are.
It's true.
Uh,
You might convince me instead of Wyoming to do like a really remote area of New Hampshire. That might
I could
work.
see that. I
That
mean,
might work
live
for
free
me.
or die is always
Yeah.
good. Or you know what, Maine? I could totally
Oh.
do some
A
Maine.
little north of Old Orchard Beach when you get coastline, but not.
Yeah, like I don't want to go to Bangor. Like I don't want to go
Right.
that far up,
Right.
right? But I don't want to be as far south as Algonquin either.
Right.
Well,
you give me like just north of
maybe I
Old Orchard
do.
Beach.
I don't
Give me a
know.
little water on the ocean. That'd be kind of nice.
I mean, I would totally. If budget wasn't an issue, give me a
Right.
yacht docked in Kennebunkport,
Why not?
and
You know how many years it took me to realize
and tell
that
me where the
Kennebunk,
lobster traps are.
Kennebunk and Kennebunkport were two different places. You know how long it took me to figure that out?
How long?
I'd say, I don't know, 10 years ago. I was like, wait a minute, what? It was when I was going up there.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute. Why didn't I ever figure out that Kennebunkport was another port and another place from Kennebunk?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't tell you. All right,
Things I never
good
needed
show.
to learn,
So what have you been watching recently? Give me a recommendation because you've been watching a lot of documentaries.
I've been watching some
A lot of
documentaries.
things?
I've been watching, I watched a really cool one the other day about knuckleballers.
Like baseball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, a big focus on Tim Wakefield and what he was like
Cool.
coming up and how pitching wasn't his first love. He was a first baseman who wanted to be a power hitter.
Right.
How'd that swing turn out for you, Timmy boy?
Well, we know.
Yeah.
We sure know.
They told him we have too many first basemen. If you want a spot on this team, I could use somebody in the pen. You want to try to throw some pitches.
Right.
And he had a good arm. And his dad used to mess with him with knuckleballs when he was a kid. He used to throw them to him in the backyard and taught him how to throw a knuckleball. And it's great. There was him. Dickey is featured on there too.
Okay.
Who was a great pitcher for the Mets. But his knuckleball was like an 80-mile-an-hour knuckleball too, which is
Okay.
insane for a knuckleball.
Yeah.
Well,
But it could also get down to 59 at
Right.
times. Yeah.
they had Phil Necro on there. They had all these great
All
knuckleballers.
the
who-
knuckleballers.
They're their own breed of people. And
Sure
it caught
are.
my eye because I throw a knuckleball for softball. There's only a few guys I know that do.
Are
And
you and you're part of that breed?
Yeah, I think we are.
Yeah.
I think, as a catcher, you know, Ron and I both throw a knuckleball.
Yeah.
We're not.
You're
your
a different
typical-
breed than Ron, though.
Yeah, you don't know Ron well enough at this point.
Well, and people on the show don't know him at
no,
all.
that's true.
So
Valid
there you
point.
go. Yeah.
But yeah, I think knuckleballers are a different breed of people. Pitchers in general are a different breed of people.
Okay.
But this is a really cool documentary. There's that one and there's a fastball documentary, both on Prime, I believe, and worth the watch.
We'll have to check it out.
What do you got?
Well, it's based in New York, which I
Okay.
know you love.
Love it.
Documentary called Fear City. Have you seen this?
No.
It's all about the mob.
Wait a minute. Yes, I did. I think I saw like is it a series?
It's a series.
I watched like
on
the first
Netflix.
one or two. Yeah.
Really good. So it's and it takes a lot of the perspective of the basically the law enforcement's perspective on catching the mob. Like all the
Right.
mob stuff you see is from the mob's perspective, right?
Right.
And it makes the bad guys look good, if you will.
It does.
Right? Listen, as much as I love Tony Soprano,
He was not a
he
good
was
man.
not a good man.
No.
He was not a good man. He was the bad guy, just like in Karate Kid, how people are sympathizing with the bad guy.
Well, hold on. There's a different animal there.
Well, we'll talk about that next because
Cobra
you're still
Kai is
you're
something-
working through Cobra Kai. You recommend it next episode. You've already had a recommendation.
Cobra Kai is a
You've
good
already
show.
had a recommendation.
Watch the whole
You've
thing.
already had a recommendation.
Cobra Kai number 2.
You've recommended there. But
Episode 3 is coming. I'm sorry, episode 3. Year 3. The 3rd season of Cobra Kai is coming. They're making it. Outstanding.
There you go.
If you like 80s movies at all, you liked Karate Kid, correct?
Absolutely. I mean,
Watch.
it was no Back to the Future.
Watch Cobra Kai.
Okay. So you're going to do 2 recommendations this week?
Why not?
Okay.
What are the rules now? There's no rules.
All right. Well, my second recommendation is
Why do you have to have your phone open for your recommendations? You're looking stuff up.
Yay!
titties. Oh, wait. Titties.
Really?
Yay! 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 Yay!
Candlewood Valley Country Club.
Candlewood Valley Country Club, the number 1 place to go. Meet your friends, play some golf.
Golf.
Go meet your friends, play some golf. Go to Candlewood Valley Country Club, candlewoodvalleygolf.com.
We still got a sponsor.